Welcome back to Horse Racing Today on TVG2. Joaquin Jaime in our studios in Los Angeles on Saturday at Gulfstream Park. There's 13 races on the program. 6 of them are stakes, 2 Grade 1s, and the 13th and final race will be the $500,000 Grade 1 Donn Handicap. And right now I'm joined on the line by trainer Dale Romans, conditioner of your 5-2 morning line favorite for the Donn. And Dale, this is a horse that pulled off one of the biggest upsets in 2015, defeating your Triple Crown champ and American Pharoah. How's he been training for you over the surface in preparation for the Donn?
You know, he seems like he's finally figured this game out. The Haskell was the race that looked like the switch went on, and then, of course, he came back into Travers and ran such a big race. A little disappointed with the Breeders' Cup, but even though he was 4th in the Clark, I mean, that was a big race. And I think he's setting on go.
It doesn't look like there's much pace on paper in the Donn, and we know how the surface tends to play at Gulfstream Park. With a horse like this, with his running style, we know he's one-dimensional, likes to lag back and make run. Do you change his style at all and maybe keep him a bit closer, or you just let him do his thing in what he likes to do and where he's comfortable?
Well, the track bias is the biggest concern, I think, with this horse. But I think there's a little speed in there. I can see financial modeling and valid going out there and setting a pretty good pace. But the way he's trained, I mean, I've never seen him where he would consistently work in a minute or better by himself without any urging. I think he's going to put himself into the race a little bit off of, he's had running a little while. I think he'll be fresh. He'll put himself into the race, and I think that may be something we'll try to get him to do more this year.
Well, you've already said that you're using this race as basically a stepping stone into the world's richest race, and that's the Dubai World Cup at the end of March, a race that you won back in 2005 with Roses in May, in a similar situation where he ran in the Donn before running in the World Cup. Did you and your team in Donegal Racing ever consider maybe having a prep race in Dubai, sort of like Frost did and what California Chrome is going to do? Was there any consideration to have a prep race over the surface in Dubai?
Yeah, we've talked about it, and it could probably still come about. I mean, we'll see what happens out of this race and what our timing is and what they have over there that we could get involved in.
Well, usually, Dale, there's so many changes from horses from age 2 to 3, but also ages from 3 to 4. Have you seen any changes, or are there any changes, maybe physically or mentally, for Keen Ice in, say, just over the last 2 months since we last seen him on the racetrack?
I think there's been quite a big change in him. Like I say, it really started in midsummer with the Haskell, but he's just gotten more consistent about what he's doing. He was just a big, like I said last year, a 7-foot 8th grader that was trying to play basketball that hadn't quite put all the coordination together, and then all of a sudden it all came together for him, and he's carried it into this year. And I've seen a big change in him, even since the Clark Handicap. I think he's changed. He's become a little bit arrogant around the barn, like he knows he's the boss.
I guess you're the boss when you're the only horse to defeat American Pharoah in 2015. Dale, let's go from one of your talented 4-year-olds to now one of your talented 3-year-olds and your Grade 1 winner in Brody's Cause. We obviously knew he was going to get freshened after the Breeders' Cup Juvenile. What was he up to after the Breeders' Cup Juvenile, and when did you start him back to get things going for his 2016 debut?
Well, to tell you the truth, he never went out of training.
Okay.
We kept him at the racetrack in light training, just galloping and jogging and doing something every day. He gets to be a handful if you don't. I didn't want to completely let him down. Just wanted him to enjoy what he was doing and relax a little bit. And we started breezing about 3 weeks ago, and he's put together a weekly breeze, and he'll probably breeze on Sunday. And I've never been in a position with a horse that was so highly touted going into his 3-year-old year as this horse has been, and it puts you in a pretty good position where you're not as stressed on getting points. He already has some points, and we decided to only have 2 preps, and that's kind of looking at the bigger picture of how the whole year will set up. And so we'll probably go Tampa Bay Derby and Bluegrass if everything works out, and then right into Kentucky.
Well, Tampa Bay Derby, Bluegrass, then Kentucky Derby for Brody's Cosdale. Last horse we'll touch on is Cherry Wine. How's he doing since his last race, and what target do you have picked out for him?
He's really doing well. He came around at the end of last year. He always trained good, too. Sort of like Keen Ice, 2-year-old. he just didn't figure out how to run until that race at Churchill. He broke his maiden. And then he legitimized that over here at Gulfstream first part of the year. We thought about actually running in the Holy Bull, and I decided it was just too many races going into the Derby for him, and especially if he does well in the Derby and you want to continue on a Triple Crown trail. So we'll probably run like Fountain of Youth or Florida Derby, but that's a kind of flexible schedule.
Dale, always appreciate the time. Thanks for joining us here on TVG2. Best of luck in the Donn with Keen Ice and going forward with your 3-year-olds in 2016.
All right. Thanks for calling.
That's trainer Dale Romans giving us the rundown on some of the top horses in his barn. And, of course, his older horse, Keen Ice, your 5-2 morning line favorite in the Grade 1 Donn on Saturday.